Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I am putting in a load of clips from the Fit Model posing workshop that we've just done today in Birmingham. It's all things posing, styling, tanning, all the good stuff. So hopefully there's lots of informative stuff in there for you guys to see as well. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the video.
You've got to think, as soon as you twist, that badge will move. Because if I put my badge here, you're not going to see it as soon as I've twisted. So, a brief overview of Fit Model. You want balance from upper body to lower body. You want a level of muscularity that is less than what you see in bikini. So think 10 years ago bikini. We want to see full round glutes from the back, but no hamstring tie-in. You might see a slight line, a slight shadow, because you have ultimately got to get enough conditioning to show full glutes. It doesn't just mean off-season glutes. And then no etched in abs, no super hard shoulders, no striations, nothing like that. And you want your physique to just flow. Front pose. When you think about getting into your front pose, there's a couple ways in terms of how you will actually show your front pose, whether you have your foot slightly forward, whether you have your foot out to the side, but you're always going to have the majority of your weight in one leg. So there's going to be a dominant leg and a non-dominant leg. So if you think about when you get into your front pose, feet underneath your hips, then you're going to take, if you've already got a side, then you can just go straight into it. You're going to take one leg back and you're going to turn it out to a 45-degree angle as you take it back. And then you're going to shift the weight into that leg. So then this leg that's in front, it's still going to have some of the weight, but just think 75-25%. 75% in the dominant, 25% in the non-dominant. And then there's a few ways. So you can either have, like I say, you can either have your foot out to the front, and your foot out the front can be flat, or you can lift the heel off the ground, and that might help you tilt your weight and shift the weight into the back a little bit more. And then if we think twisting the waist on an angle, so for me, I'm twisting towards the window, your backhand goes into your waist, and a good rule of thumb is to think middle of where your belly button is. You don't want to have your hand too far behind where we lose the shoulder, because although we don't want to see too much shoulder, we still want to see balance. We want to see a nice, strong, wide top line that comes into your taper, legs come out. So hand goes in. Think about digging the thumb into the lower part of your back, so in the small part of your lower back. And then just let your fingers rest on your hip bones. And then this arm that's off the waist, it just wants to relax down. And you want to think, make your arm, you want your arm to complement your shape, so it wants to be curved slightly. So wrist comes out to the side, soft fingertips, shift the weight out. And then like I said, some people might have their foot more out to the side, where their feet are kind of in the same line, but not totally forwards. That's it. And then you'll squeeze your glute if you need to. A lot of people do. That's it. Good. And then just think, when it comes to your front pose, you want to make sure that your knee doesn't cave in. So always think, it's very easy for your knee to cave in. So you just want to think, rotate it out slightly. And then that's it. Good. Back pose. What you're going to do, you can watch me for now. So, again, different for every person. You want to think the weight is evenly transferred between your toes and the soles of your feet. I was going to say balls of your feet. So you're going to push your hips back, and it's a little pelvic tilt. It's not a push back like this. You just think about arching your lower back. And then some people will, like I say, just have their legs straight. You'll have other people that rotate from the knees. You might have some people where their feet are wider, turning the toes out. It all depends on your level of muscularity, your development, what showcases your balance the best. So hands will go close to your crotch. That's where you're thinking, back pose. And then with your upper body, it's never a squeeze. You want to make a small little diamond in between your arms and your waist. And then if you've got your arch here, just try not to bend forwards. Think about almost leaning your back towards the floor, because that's that. A good way to think about your transition is you still have a transition, because I did see people get in their front pose and then just do this last week. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want that, not at all. So, my easy way of getting you into a transition without having to stop too much. So you're in your front pose, the leg that has the 25% of the weight, that's going to come in to the other foot to create what I call is a T. So if you look at your feet, it's kind of a bit of a slanted T depending on how side on your foot is at the back. But that foot, it wants to cover the arch of your dominant leg. So as you drag it in, it covers the arch there. And then always think, as you get here, you don't want to just relax your waist, you're still keeping that arch the entire time. Then your arms will come down, and then all you're going to do really is reverse the T as you go to the back pose. So when I say reverse the T, I mean the front foot is going to go side on, the back foot is then going to twist into the arch of the front foot. That's it, and you're then in a glute shot. Now this you don't want to hold. This is what I did last week, so learn from my mistakes. I held it here. So as soon as you hit there, you want your hands to go towards your quads, but you don't really want to stop and touch them. So then doing the movement, then you take 1 step, 2 steps to get into your back pose. So it still will look like a half circle without stopping. So if I speed it up, bring it in, all the way around, then it's continuous movement. So you've still got transition, just continuous movement. Coming back around from your back pose, majority of people do 2 ways. Again, I've seen people just turn around and not have anything. So your back pose, if you're doing, so the 2 ways I'm talking about is leaning one way, stepping the foot in so the feet are together, you're still pushing back, and then taking a little step forwards and twisting round to here. That's one way, and then from here going straight into your front pose. The other way is where you would swing your hips to one side, step back into a glute shot here, then come round to here. So, let's get you all in your front pose, and I'll adjust anyone as we go. Relax the shoulder, that's it. This is really what you have to do, I can see. Have you tried the other side? Just try it. You'll have one that you prefer. The other side. Yeah. Yeah, good. Twist a little bit more. How much you twist as well depends again on your structure, how much muscularity you've got, what showcases your physique the best. Some people can really twist. Others, the only problem sometimes with really twisting is it can then make your legs look a lot narrower, and then that throws off balance between upper and lower. You don't have to be totally straight on, but there's like an element of looking like you are kind of straight on, but with a bit of twist to make it look nicer. I don't know which one I like. Let me see. Put the hip distance apart, and then just take whatever leg back at 45 degrees. Lean your hips into that leg, put them heel flat. In just a little bit. A good little tip is with your hands, I don't want to be able to see your wrists from the judge's angle. So if your wrists are kind of hanging out, that means you're creating too much of a wide elbow. Half lift. Now if you're doing a half lift, it needs to be go under, but try not to go wide. Try not to let your arms go out wide, only because if you've got people next to you and you're in you don't want to hit anybody. So always think, a good way to think is flip the hair and then come down your body. So think in front of the body rather than out to the side. You might just do a little shoulder shrug. This is where you can make it your own and show a little bit more confidence. I always recommend some form of something, whether it be the shimmy, the shoulder shrug, the little wave, the arm up, something. So when you're in your front pose, again, you can do exactly the same thing as you did for transitioning. So when you drag that foot into here, if you're doing that and you want to put your arm up, it'll be the arm that's on the waist, comes down, straight back up. That's your little, if you want to wave, it can be a little wave here. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. If you want to do the shimmy, you're still going to drag the foot in. Your hands will go on your waist, little shimmy. You can only do this if your shoulders are not on the line. If they are, they won't like it, because then it looks a little bit bikini-esque. So you just have to be conscious, but there is a way that you can shimmy without it looking like PCA bikini. You just want to think, bring your hands lower on your hips and just have your shoulders totally relaxed. Kind of like just chilling, you know, and it's just a little shimmy there. Don't have to do it. If you don't want to do the arm of the shimmy, you still just bring your leg in. You could then turn into a glute shot and do a little shimmy, little shoulder shrug there, and then a little kick as well. When it comes to kicks, think about dragging your foot from the ball of your foot backwards. Don't think about lifting the knee. Think it's dragging that ball of the foot on the ground. And that will just make it a little soft, pretty kick, rather than like here onto your bum. Did you see it? You did. And things like eye contact with the judges. So a really good little confidence tip. When you get on stage and you hit your front pose, first person you look at is the head judge. They are important, they're always centre of the panel. And then you just want to scan the whole table. And I don't mean moving your head, just think like eyes side to side, right? Then once you've done that, look up behind the judges, because the cameraman is just above them. So you don't want to just be staring at the judges the whole time. Look down, scan the whole panel, then look up, get your good shot, then move through into your back shot. You don't have to be smiling in your back shot, of course. You can then rest your jaw when you do that. But as soon as you turn back round, first thing you want to do is have a really big smile when you're coming from the back shot, because it just shows more confidence. And you want to, even if you're so nervous, you just want to act like you're not. Fake it, yeah? And then even other little things, like when you're in your front pose, you could do your big smile there, where you're scanning the judging panel, and then looking up at the camera. And then as you transition, if you like to pout, if you want to shut your mouth, like whatever it may be, you can do that. And even just things like looking down, because those can be nice. I always think, like, when you're in your individual, these are your photo opportunities. So you've got to think, what's your Pinterest board of photos? Right? Walking, I don't want you to overthink it too much, but it does require some thinking, unfortunately. So think you're standing as tall as you possibly can, right? So everything's nice and proud, chest is lifted. With your lower back, it's constantly arched. So as soon as you're stood, you're going to arch your back, right? Then, when you're thinking about walking, instead of thinking about moving your hips, because you do need to have the element of moving your hips, it wants to be, think of it from your belly button. So, as you walk forwards, you take a step, you're going to let your belly button go to the corner of the room. So corner to corner as we walk. So that's how you'll get your hip movement, just by moving belly button corner to corner of the room. And then the next thing to think about is keeping your glutes lifted, and then with your feet, the problem that we find when it's like, okay, think about just belly button corner to corner of the room, is people might then be like this. So you want to think about straightening your foot as you walk. So corner to the room and then straighten the foot. So you go side on, straighten it. Does that make sense? So I'm doing it super slow. So you almost think your knee goes towards the corner and then it straightens. Yeah? And then with your arms, just let them chill. They will naturally move. Because when you walk day to day, you don't think what you're doing with your arms like this, do it? You just, a lot of the time, people might start adding too much movement in, and then it looks a little bit octopus arms. But just think, let them stay by your sides, and they will just naturally move. So if you're on the edges, so you two girls, you want to angle in towards me. So you'd still be on. So you would just turn totally side on, like in comparison to the other girls. So you angle towards me some more, that's it. Just because you want to think, when you're in this pose, if you're, say the judge is over there, but there's one judge here, I'm only looking at one judge when I'm like this, and then it doesn't look as good over there. That's what you want to think about. It's the same thing with you, you just want to twist towards me. That's it. Good. And then, when you're moving around, there's going to be, so say I say number 1, switch with number 6. You want to put your arm up at this point, no matter if you put your arm up as a sign off or not, because you're letting the other girl know who you are. As you bring this leg in, I want you to push back. So think, push back here. So drag it in and push back. Arm comes down. There. Good. Little step. Twist it. Hands on your quads. You're up for it.
Yeah, I think it's last time I spoke, I said to probably come low.
Yeah, so you want to keep it low. It's really difficult because it's like you almost just want to rotate it round, not think of doing this as soon as you bring the shoulder round. Can you? This is good, especially when you bring that shoulder round, it only exaggerates your waist even more. So it's really good.
I'm like,
I know, like, you start back here, and I look over here, and then you start coming forward. Feet under the hips, tattooed leg is going to take a step back and a 45-degree turn. Step, turn, weight goes in. Then this front foot, you're just going to take it a little bit out to the side, and you can either keep the foot flat or lift the heel off the ground. It's whatever helps you get more of a glute squeeze. And use a moisturiser that has variegated in it. This one is very good because it's almost like baby moisturiser. So something super low in extra ingredients, just because even if you're okay with it now, as you get deeper into prep, your pH balance, like anything might change, right? So something that's really easy, really light on the skin. Moisturise every day. If you're someone who gets super dry, maybe now that the weather's getting warmer, then twice a day. Like for me personally, this is a good thing for in between shows. If you're in between shows, you've got like a week, 2 weeks, moisturise. If you're a week or 2 weeks in between shows, moisturise like your life depends on it, so like twice a day. That's what I personally do, morning, evening. Lather it on, especially in your elbows, your ankles, in your chest, your neck area. Don't forget to exfoliate your neck as well. If you're also in between shows, you can get the 60-second tan remover. Use it like frozen caramel. This is really good. If you have sensitive skin, just be careful with it. Don't use it too much, like test it first. Or just use it on your elbow, like the tough areas, your elbows, your ankles, armpits, that sort of thing. One thing I do suggest is if you do want to save money, do your own base coat. Because if you get it wrong, if anything happens, they'll fix it when they do your top coat. So it's literally idiot proof. It'll be fine. Sometimes, so this actually happened last weekend, a girl went on stage and hadn't been glazed, she hadn't got called for glaze, so I will always have show shine. It's the exact same thing that they use. Yeah, no, it's scary stuff. She didn't even realise that she got on stage and she hadn't been glazed. But show shine, always have it in your bag, you just never know. And this will go shoulders, stomach, it goes everywhere to be honest, glutes. Main heavy hitters are your shoulders, your abs, your glutes. When it comes to jewellery, because say for instance you're a taller individual or you have longer limbs, with your arms for instance, you can get away with a chunkier bracelet. For if you're trying to, because we want to always think we're trying to elongate ourselves, unless we are super tall and we're trying to crunch ourselves down a little bit just to not stick out maybe. When it comes to bracelets, you can go thicker if your arms are a bit longer. If you're a little bit more petite, shorter arms, you might go thinner. You don't have to do one on each side. It really is person dependent. It's what's going to complement your shape and what's going to make you feel good.
Honey, you're smiling the wrong way.
Honey,
Oh.
come here. Oh, look how happy you are. Sit. The other way you're supposed to sit. Okay.
Honey.
Do you need anyone in?
No, you're all in, to be honest, and you're all even, so I don't even need to do anything.